Good afternoon. The sun is shining. It is episode 61 of Three Things with Ian. Glad you found me again. It is March 2nd. We are below freezing still. On today's episode, we are going to talk about the best month for TV viewing sports. Of the 12 months, what's the best one for viewers? We are going to talk interesting food challenges. And we are going to discuss, in some detail, waffles versus pancakes. Which is better? No debate, really, but let's dive in. So, food challenges. There is nothing more American than overindulgence and the gluttonous eating and talking about it with friends. So, I've always been aware of the beer mile. I've never done this challenge, but it sounds horrific. In this challenge, you have to drink 4 beers and run a mile. This is best done on a track. So every lap, every quarter mile, there's a transition area, and you need to chug a 12-ounce beer. This sounds terrible, but people do this. People do this for fun. People have done this with donuts. They've done it with different things where you had to consume something and then run a quarter mile, consume something, and go on. So that's a pretty standard food challenge. Also incorporates exercise. There's another interesting challenge that I found, though. I don't remember the name of it, but essentially this challenge in any combination is to drink beers, run walk miles, and or eat donuts, adding up to 50 in a single 24-hour period. So this is pretty fascinating. So there's obviously the 0 beer, 0 miles, 50 donuts version, right? And then there's different iterations. You can do 30 beers, 15 miles, 5 donuts, 5 beers, 20 miles, 10 donuts. So what's the ideal combination? Is this even possible? I just did some internet scrounging, and this challenge was posed, but I didn't see if anyone actually completed it. If it was like laps on a track, I think you could. I think this is a lot easier. The problem is that it's asking to run or walk a mile. You can walk a mile in about 20 minutes, 15 to 16 if you're really speed walking. I suppose you could. I think what I would do in this challenge is I would try to keep moving, and while I'm moving, drink the beer and eat the donut. You could also substitute beer for, I guess, a pop or water or something. Beer just has that extra kind of like oomph, I guess. But this is an interesting challenge. I was trying to find a challenge that I remember someone mentioning. It could be apocryphal at this point, but there was a 50-50 challenge where in a day or a set period of time, you had to consume 50 either chicken wings and or beers. So you could do any combination thereof. I thought that was interesting as well. So that's a food challenge. There's the 999 challenge, and this just came up because a minor league baseball team was offering, I think, like $1 beers and $2 hot dogs. So the 9-9 challenge is simple, and this is the most Americana challenge you could possibly have. 9 hot dogs, 9 beers, and 9 innings. So baseball is faster now, guys. You don't have 3.5 hours, especially minor league baseball. So ideally, you have about 2.5 hours to do this. For me, if I'm going to think about this, I'm going to try to get a bunch of hot dogs in early, because I know that, I've done food challenges, and it sounds like you can eat like 4 hot dogs in a sitting. It is actually very difficult. I think that in 5 minutes, I've only ever eaten like 2.5 hot dogs. The bun, the chewing, the pressure, the heat, it's just a lot. So that's the 999 challenge. And then lastly, the only challenge on this list that I think I would volunteer myself to do would be the $10 Costco challenge, where you can get whatever combo of things you want, but it has to be at least $10 and you have to consume it all within an hour or 2 hours. I think it varies. So Costco challenge, pizza's like $1.99, and they're big slices, huge slices. The hot dogs are at least a foot long, a lot of starch, a lot of carbs in the bun. The chicken wrap is where you're going to kind of squeeze this challenge, because that's a little more expensive, and the chicken wrap is not super, super big, but it is for one person usually a meal in and of itself. So those are some different food challenges. I could talk about them. What I want to hear, though, is from you. What's a food challenge either you participated in or you've seen? I know I'm probably not reaching Joey Chestnut and Kobayashi out there, but it is very interesting when you get to the elite competitive food level and to see just what they can do to their bodies and what kind of pain and uncomfortability they can endure, right? All right, so that was my number one thing today. We talked a little about food challenges. Let's talk about sports. So I found this really interesting, and I'm going to try to use my phone here. I found a really interesting bar graph. Not really a bar graph, actually. histogram probably, that broke down, it's hard to see here, the different months and the different sports. So we are basically at a very interesting period here in early March. We have basketball and we have hockey. Baseball is in spring training and football is done. I think any list of major sports in America, to be fair, if we're going to dumb it down to the base level, the football season is paramount, and that runs from August to February. You also have during that time a little bit of other major sports as well. You have basketball, you have some hockey. Basketball and hockey run from about October to June. So all the major sports are super long at this point in time. So really we don't have much dead time. I would argue that actually March and early April are probably the weakest in terms of sports to watch on television. Obviously, I'm a soccer guy, and soccer's heating up, and soccer's essentially omnipresent. Their off season is essentially late July and August. That's it, basically, for these guys, which is a whole nother episode we could talk about. Just how tiring and how long of an endurance slog that is. But I would say the best time to watch sports. Also, for me, it's going to be that September. You have what used to be the October Classic, the World Series. It goes later and later, but September is when you have the football season starting, you have the baseball, and you don't have hockey and basketball, but you have some preseason, and there's some interest, and there's like talk about the season, and you can get interested in it, and there's some preview shows. So I want to hear from you. What is your favorite month for viewing television? March Madness, although that's really April Madness at this point. So late March, you do get NCAA basketball, which is huge. So really, there's no wrong answers. If you love track and field, then this is probably the best time for you. We're gearing up on all the big golden level meets, the Diamond League meets. There's always some sports going on, but I want to hear from you. What is your favorite month of sports viewing? What do you love to watch? Let's have a conversation about it. All right, number 3, Waffles v. Pancakes. For me, this really isn't even, this is not difficult for me. I'm going to always go with Waffles. And I'll give you my reasons why. Flavor-wise, there's not much, there is a difference. Let's pump the brakes on this. Don't come at me all at once here. Waffles and pancakes taste different. They do. But the overall rate of difference, for me, for my enjoyability, is rather slim. I don't really have a preference per se on flavor. What I like, though, then, I go to texture, mouthfeel, and the presentation, even for me. Waffles, you can get that. I love the nubs. I love the different texture. I love the thickness. Nothing beats a Belgian waffle in my book. I know that there's a Japanese style of pancake that mimics that super fluffiness. It's almost like a hamburger bun. But for me, I like the nooks and crannies. I like that you can get a little bit more of a bite, a little bit more of a crisp to the waffle. I like that you can pour a bunch of syrup in the crevices. I just think that it's a overall better product. In terms of making them, waffle makers are basically plug and play. It's also easy to pour batter on a griddle and then flip it, I understand. But in terms of just setting it and forgetting it, Waffles has the edge there as well. I think you can add a little bit more vanilla and a little bit more, I was going to say seasonality, but that's not the right word. Seasoning to waffles. A good pancake is phenomenal, and a good waffle is phenomenal. I'm just going to go waffle. Waffle holds syrup better. That's important. There's a podcast called The Sporkful where they talk a lot about pasta shapes and about how much sauce adheres to certain shapes, and if that matters to you, it matters to me because I do like the butter and I do like the syrup. So yeah, I think just overall, I'm a waffle guy. There's probably pancake people out there. There's probably people that are indifferent. Those are people who are monsters. You gotta pick something. You gotta pick something. You can't go through life just being like, I'll take either. Take a stand, guys. That's my piece of advice for you today. Take a stand. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I gave you a lot to chew on, no pun intended. Food challenges, what did I miss? Hit me up with those. I know there's like super spicy food challenges. I have no interest in that. My palate does not allow me to eat anything above a medium salsa. So that's where I'm at with that. What's the best month for sports viewing in America? I didn't mention that being outside in the summer months here is much more pleasant than the winter, so that's going to give you an additional factor for what's the best month, although the article was, I think, centralizing on TV viewing. And then lastly, Waffles v. Pancakes. Please tell me your team Waffles. Comment, subscribe, tell a friend. This channel is growing. I am enjoying every minute of being with you, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.